That's right.
Stealing the water. Stealing their lives. They want to take the tunnel. They want to take the tunnel from you as well. And so you got to look at what's happening. They told you that they were broke. If people recall when Mayor Bean gave his State of the City speech, Mayor Bean had Ernest & Young, who's one of the people who's looking at the cash flow for the city of Detroit, where the contract started $600 million in 2011, but it's now over $11 million today. Had told them, and he said in his speech, if you go back and look at it, on June 30th, 2013, the city of Detroit would have a $6 million surplus. Now, we got a $6 million surplus in 2013. How are we in bankruptcy? The reason is because you had this plan. All of this was planned. That's what came out in emails that were there in court. Talking about how they put this thing together. How the Jones Day emails were going back and forth talking about how we're going to get around PA4 and how we're going to do what we want to do. They've lulled you to sleep, folks, and we got to wake up. This room ought to be overflowing with people. It ought to be all the way out in the parking lot. Shouldn't be no cars out there. It ought to be people out there. There's 24,000 retirees, 9,600 city employees. That's right. And then you have the community itself that ought to be here. Think about it. The city of Detroit is bankrupt. However, we had an emergency manager in here. We had a program manager in here. We paid $220,000 for each of them. We had a 9-member advisory board. We paid $25,000 for each one of them. We got consultants of government consultants. Let me just give you one quick and then we'll sit down. So Conway McKenzie is a consultant. $4.2 million that we're paying. On top of that, they get $162,000 per week advisory fee. Well, let me tell you something else. 2 months ago, Mr. Orr increased the advisory fee. So now they get an advisory fee of $400,000 every other week. Now, we're supposed to be broke. Now, let me tell you something else. Mr. Dillon, who used to be the state treasurer, as you know, kept getting paid. Well, now he's off that payroll. But the company I just told you about, Conway McKenzie, he just went to work for them 2 weeks ago. Now, this is the same person that brought him to the table. We got to wake up, folks. You can't get lulled to sleep by what's going on. And so I gave you one consistent of one company. But you've got all these other companies in here. We had a prior mayor that's sitting in jail, right? For corruption. An underhand deal. Well, you had a state treasurer, again, Mr. Andy Dillon, did 2 underhand deals. One, he said, if you don't hire Miller Canfield, I'm not going to release $20 million. That's a no-bid contract. Then he turned around and said, if you don't hire Ernest & Young, I'm not going to release $10 million. Those are 2 no-bid contracts. But Andy Dillon got another job. Kwame Kilpatrick is sitting in jail. What's wrong with that picture? See, we got to wake up. We got to understand what they're doing to us. We got to understand what's happening, and we ought to be in the know. So I'm so glad that we got some people here. But when we leave here, guess what we got to do? We got to go back and mobilize. We got to each get 10 to 20 more people and bring them with us. Because if we're going to do something on the 3rd, we need to be able to block off all of the streets in downtown Detroit. We need to be taking over Detroit where we can stop what's going on to us. Thank you very much.
All right.